Hey folks, welcome to SDGC Live on a wonderful Thursday night. Apologies, it's gonna be a little bit of a hectic show tonight. We had a rundown, we had things figured out, and some stuff kind of happened at the last minute that have thrown a few things in chaos. So obviously, like, John was wanting to be here, and John is not so sure that he was going to be able to make it. So he is not here currently. We're hoping to hear if that will or will not happen. I know John had spoken to a guest, and frankly, my autistic ass is not ready to do guest management with less than 10 minutes to go. So, we'll see how all of that goes. Much apologies, blame it on the tism. But we are here. We are live. We do have a podcast. We do have some fun things to talk about. I am here with Jeff and CJ. How's it going, buds? Yeah. You took my free time because I usually have hours before the podcast, right? And instead I walked in the door maybe less than 30 minutes ago, and had to get stuff together. So, I in fact still have not watched the big video behind one of the things we're going to talk about, I suppose. He's doing his homework in class. Somebody get this motherfucker. Oh shit.
I don't sound like a doofus.
Yeah. Can't hear Jeff. I had you muted. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I had desktop audio on.
Jeff
Fuck
had
it.
like the most
Run the intro again.
Intro
Run
in the world. Incredible.
Holy shit.
Hey,
First
folks.
muted. Intro played over me.
Was explaining
Take
what the
two.
background behind me was and everything. Motherfucker, he was talking about Jimmy Hoffa and everything. He knew.
Fuck.
I was not really
You
in
don't
a
even
position.
know the secrets I just divulged.
Hang on, Steve. Nitro said he missed. Run the intro. I'm kidding. We're not doing the intro a third time.
I mean,
fucking intro.
Derek did promise chaos, and that is what you shall
You're
receive.
only getting chaos tonight. I was really not prepared to be master of ceremonies tonight. But here we are. Anyway, I am Derek. I'm here with Jeff and CJ. How is it going, buds? For real this time, now that people can hear you. This is fuck, Jeff. Don't do this to me.
No, Jeff.
But did you check? Did you check?
I did.
You should have gotten like the entire episode.
I promise I'm actually really good at running this podcast when I've had more than 10 minutes of prep time.
We're gonna gaslight Derek into thinking like
part of the problem is remember, I work in broadcast news. So if you have like under 10 minutes of prep time and you were live on the air, like that is a PTSD scenario for me. So that was me Monday. So like I'm sitting here holding it together, ropes in my teeth.
What's a good amount of prep time for broadcast TV? Like when you sit down at the booth or whatever, like an hour, 45?
Well, and like I said, I am not a journalist and I am not an anchor, right? But like usually for a proper newscast, well, I mean, producers have been putting it together for, an hour or two before the show, bare minimum. You've usually got a final rundown, hopefully at least a half an hour before the show. Your talent's getting mic'd up, you're doing sound checks, you're doing, all of that sort of stuff. So less than you would hope, but more than 10 fucking minutes. And usually
it just occurred to me, we don't have like a simulator game for this particular.
You know what? Zach Robertson, who used to be on the show, introduced me to a game called Not for Broadcast that is not accurate, but is a creatively accurate, let me say, take on the idea of being it's sort of a combination like master control and production environment.
Okay.
Where you're like running the news and have to switch cameras and adjust mics and like decide when you're going to censor like it. And the plot plays into like censorship of news by like, you know, a totalitarian government and stuff like that. But it's very interesting. It's very quirky. It's very weird. It's funny. It's a little both sidesy in its politics, which I didn't like. But it was interesting and quirky. And I am glad that Zach brought it to my attention. It's a weird one.
Down.
Yeah, it's a weird one for sure. But yeah, we're here tonight. We're going to talk about this Mario movie some. Britt's supposed to be here at some point. Once again, Britt's running fashionably late. You know, again, John had to drop at the last second, unfortunately, and he's not sure if he'll be able to make it back. Unfortunately, with John, as John was managing. And Darren, I see you in chat. Hello. I'm sorry. John was kind of running point on getting you in here last minute, and we'll have to do this again sometime. Finn really wanted to be on when you were going to be on, so you know, this just means that we're going to time you out to a time when Finn is also on the show, because Finn was really upset that he was not going to be able to be here when you were. So yeah, maybe things are supposed to happen this way. I don't know. Much love. Also, yeah, just it would have been good to have, because like we're gonna talk Zelda, we're gonna talk Final Fantasy. This would have been perfect for you, man. But
let's be honest, we talk Final Fantasy every Thursday.
We do talk Final Fantasy every Thursday.
Yeah, we can make the space.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But before any of this, CJ,
fuck me. What's up, man?
What have you been playing, man?
What is it? It's funny. So like last week, as soon as the podcast ended, I recorded a ton of Jedi Fallen Order, in preparation.
It's funny because you didn't really like Fallen Order the first time you played it.
I don't, and I did it and I think I explained last week. It's just that too many ideas. Justin and I talked about it, and I summed it up like this. I'm willing to forgive all of the sort of like sins of the Spider-Man game for like stealing from virtually every single AAA playbook, because you still feel like Spider-Man in that game.
Yeah.
Nothing about Fallen Order's combat feels Star Warsy. Nothing.
It's a Souls-like.
It's a Souls-like with like some like telekinetic powers, but like even then, like a lot of those things are done better, and like Scarlet Nexus has like for like its own Force stuff. Force Unleashed did it way better 15 years ago. So I was turned off at first. What kept me going like was I liked its story a lot. Like there's a fine line between like this really dark and brooding like story with like the sort of light-hearted, like the swashbuckling stuff from the original trilogy. I like that. Everyone hates Cal as a character. But I kind of like him because I mean he's a fucking Padawan, he's a Jedi. They're completely devoid of any emotion, especially from that era. It makes total sense that he is kind of like this blank slate of like a.
Of course, you prefer Star Wars when there's a fucking white boy in charge.
Yes,
it's the protagonist, CJ, yeah. Known.
That is what known white supremacist.
Jesus,
no one's disagreeing. You guys are assholes. So I like the story a lot. There was one bit spoilers for a 4-year-old game. The Order 66 stuff was incredible. Just playing through that, it really like made me appreciate a lot of Revenge of the Sith more. As soon as I finished that game,
something had to.
The fucking game, that fucking movie, like for the longest time, it was my enemy. Now it's like I've formed something with it.
Friendship formed.
Straight up, I literally after I finished, it was like really late, and I'm like, fuck it. I watched like the last like half hour of Revenge of the Sith because I wanted to see the Yoda Palpatine fight again, because my friends and I were talking shit about it. And as it went on, I'm like, oh my god, is this like the greatest blockbuster to have come out in the last 20 years? It's up there, 100%. Fallen Order is good. Like it's not great. It's flawed because it literally is like a pastiche of like virtually every single AAA design out of the design handbook. Makes sense. You get a God of War director to do it. He's gonna pull from whatever's familiar. You get Respawn to do it. They're probably not familiar. They're not familiar with third-person action games. They're probably gonna pull from whatever they can. Very excited for the sequel. Again, I previewed it. I'm everything that I did not like in the first game. seems to be getting fixed. If I was handing out medals for like most improved, it would probably go to Jedi Survivor. Yeah, I liked it. I like it's good to be back in the Star Wars ecosystem. So much so that I reinstalled Knights of the Republic on my Switch.
Hell yeah!
Love that game so much. Love that game.
Jeff,
so
putting your work in chat here.
I got you.
Love that game so much. But I'm saving it for a flight that I have like next month. So I decided to reinstall the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That I'm going back to Mass Effect 2. I played like the first hour of it. Didn't really.
It's so weird to have played Mass Effect 2 and never gotten to like the part that makes the game is the end. It's so interesting to me.
The thing is, I played the first one right like 2 years ago. I barely talked about it in this podcast. I don't think I was on like when I was like I didn't really like, come on when I played it. I mean, one of the greatest games ever made. Love Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 1, maybe like top 10 video games like narratives ever. Incredible. It because it felt like a long like lost sequel to Knights of the Republic. It was the closest thing I'd played to like feeling like KOTOR.
Such unique vibes too,
oh my
and
gosh.
atmosphere. Like
everything. It pulled a fucking Phantom Pain on me too by having me kill people that you work with, and then I learned later on that I could have like avoided it completely. I got so pissed. But again, like I talked about it, it's like this great like meditation on like race and war and everything. I've talked about Rex, like one of my favorite video game characters ever.
Rex fucking rules.
Rex rules. His conversations rule. I hate Ashley so much. I made sure Ashley died. It's funny because Mass Effect 2
leave that bitch on Vermeer.
Straight up. Look, one of the first conversations you have in Mass Effect 2 is like they're asking you, and what about Ashley? And the only options are like I did what I had to, or like she didn't deserve to die. And both of them I think ended her saying, like my shepherd saying, she died a hero. I'm like, no, bitch. No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The problem with Mass Effect 2 so far is that it's like the first one was like a janky, CRPG translated to like for Xbox, the original Xbox 360, right?
Translated into like a janky third-person shooter,
right? Yeah. But it worked. It worked because you got enough freedom. This game just feels like a really janky third-person shooter, especially coming off of stuff.
It leans a lot more into being like it's Gears of War, but with Mass Effect's
bad Gears
story,
of War,
and it's like, but it's not.
Yeah, or Gears of War. Like that's the problem. I'm hoping the story like elevates it, right? Like
I think it does, but.
I'm really interested to hear your opinion, CJ, when you play it, because I'm kind of the one dissenter. Like general consensus is like people think Mass Effect 1 is like okay, like it's a good foundation, but Mass Effect 2 is like way up here. But
Mass Effect 2 is like the big one.
I'm 100% same page as you. Mass Effect 1, like I love like the CRP, like you said, it's clearly like an old traditional like BioWare type game transplanted here, and I think I like the narrative in 1 a lot more. The 2 is less about like the big story and more about individual characters and the way they come together. But for me, that fell flat because I did not like most of the characters nearly as much as I like the cast in 1, with the exception of Morden, which everyone loves.
Morden.
But like Jacob, I couldn't stand Jacob. I don't give a shit about Miranda.
Jacob and Miranda get fucked. Jack rules. I like Jack.
The first game is fascinating because like I finished it and it could have ended. That could have been it, right?
Yeah.
Like, didn't need to be a 2 or 3. I'm sure like it all come together. Once what's probably gonna end up happening is I'll play 2 and I'll say, all right, time to dive into 3. I'll get to 3 in like 2 years from now. But no, 1. I miss 1. Like I really do. I've been thinking about Mass Effect 1 because in that Star Wars headspace, I'm like, man.
Even the aesthetic of 1 is very different. Like it's more Star Trek-y. Like it's a little brighter. It's a little bit more optimistic. 2 is like
soundtrack to 1 is still oh my god, because I don't like big orchestrated.
Where's John?
He had to drop last minute.
He bounced out, like last minute. But like, I don't like big
he thinks he might be able to get in partway through, maybe. But I just left him on the call, and if he's able to join us, he's able to join us.
I saw that you removed him and then re-added him, so
because he said he was out, so I was like, okay, well then let me go ahead and solve that. And then it was like, oh, I might be. And so yeah, anyway,
John may show up.
Yeah,
it was just funny because I thought you booted him already. I was like, damn, it's only been 15 minutes.
Was not dying. But yeah, sorry, I'll wrap this like tangent up. But yeah, Mass Effect 2 so far. We'll see. It's cool like being in like because like it's got to the point where you're in the club, right? you talk to recruiting whoever you have to recruit, and it immediately shot back to KOTOR. I'm like, God damn, I need that remake to come out. I think that'll like cure whatever depression I have.
I burned out halfway through 2 and took a year off and then finished it, and then I burned out a quarter into 3. So CJ, you let me know when you get to Mass Effect 3, when you finally get there. I'll get back to it and I'll play it.
In like 5 years.
You and I work on like shifts for Mass Effect games. you and I work. Okay. So as soon as I finish 2, you'll finish 3, and then I'll get on like next year. Right. I'll get on here. Are you gonna play Andromeda next year then too?
I played half of Andromeda twice, so
you gotta commit. You gotta commit. That way,
you gotta finish it for me, buddy.
That way, by 2026, I can finish Andromeda.
This might be the worst conversation we've ever had.
I don't know, man.
Which one of us is gonna play Gotham Knights?
I don't think.
You can play all the janky motorbike sections, and I'll play the fun parts.
Oh no, that's weird. Why did our visuals goof out? Anyway.
Oh crap! It's my background. Sorry guys, I got fucking transported to cyberspace.
We're back.
That's what it is. Okay, that's interesting. Anyway, sorry, it was something. Yeah. Anyway. Continue.
I'm done. Star Wars is fun. Oh, Britt, look, you have it there in the background. Look at my guy here too. Oh no, you can't see him because the fucking background, the green screen. No, God damn.
He's green, CJ.
Rogue.
Oh my God, I don't call him Grogu. I call him Baby Yoda. I haven't gotten that far, and I don't care. Look at my guy.
I will never call him anything but Baby Yoda.
You can't see him. The listeners, I have a background on and it's latching. Fuck this thing. It's trim across the bed. Anyway, who's next?
This is what CJ's trying to show you, I think.
No, mine's better. Mine is like all like
for the two people who don't know what a Baby Yoda is.
Hold up, but I do have because I took this out because Christine.
Yoda, but baby.
I have the little. This is a little voice box.
Cool.
That's him.
I hear nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. No. This is not a good episode. Right. I'm done.
I've run the intro 2.5 times. Okay, like
fucking mute me.
Okay. All right.
We don't have to when the shit you're playing isn't coming through anyway.
Man, but you can't come late and you can't talk shit like that either. You gotta pick one or the other.
I think I'm a little deserving of
I just noticed Britt's got a Grogu behind her as well.
That's what he said. He's just he's kind of lurking.
I have a painting of Godzilla fighting Rodan. Does that count?
Yeah. He's green.
Sure.
Godzilla is just like radioactive Yoda.
Yeah, for sure. Very similar.
Destroy Tokyo? I must. Do the roar. Oh, dude, I've been doing my Yoda impression at work all fucking week. Holy
and everyone hates you, right?
Oh my God, they do, because I keep saying shit like, good to drive, I am. Give me my keys, you must.
Oh my God, mute him. He's dead. Get him out of here.
Jeff, what you been playing, bud?
Oh my God. Not a lot. I still got some stuff going on that's kind of preventing me from playing some of the stuff I want to, because I want to get back to Theater Rhythm or Feet Rhythm. I think that's officially its name now.
Feet Rhythm.
But I've just been playing a lot of MLB The Show. It's been I kind of bitched about it the first. I didn't talk about it last week. I kind of bitched about it the first week just because like I'd taken a few years off and it wasn't. I didn't really have that next gen pop that I expected coming back after 5 years. But it's been now that I kind of like just got to sink some time into it. It's been really good. I used to play these games a lot back in the day, and the vibes I talk about all the time. I play games for like the vibes, right? And once you get past it kind of looks like a really high res PS3 game still, but there's a lot of nice attention to detail. Like even though like from a technical level, some of the stuff isn't super advanced. Like you can tell they care a lot about the baseball experience. The audio is really good. Like all the different background sounds and stuff like that. The crowd chatter, the little visual details like camera angles and stuff like that. The presentation's just really good. It just makes you feel like you're hanging out in a ballpark, which is good because pre-pandemic, my dad and I used to travel a lot and go to a lot of baseball games. So that was it's always going to be a little bit special to me, but it's also just kind of I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at sports, but sports has always been a big part of my life. I play hockey, most of my friends are into it, and it's like I'm not like really one with like the mob mentality. I'm not going to riot when my team loses, and I'm not, I could take a step back and be like, it's just a game, but it's a good social bonding activity. Me and the buds, we go out to the bar, watch a game, go to a game here, get together at someone's house. It's always been a good thing. And the pandemic really, I talked about it, really just killed it all for me. A, because they took a year off, and B, because all the bullshit, it's all about the money, and literally all the sports leagues were trying to get people back in the stands and murder everyone to make some money, even if it meant a bunch of people die from a horrible disease. So, but I'm trying to get past that and be like, you know what, I can't change that. This is something I enjoy, and I don't have to give my money to it, but I can watch it on TV for free using my dad's account, and I can play a little baseball game as a treat. And yeah, it's just kind of reignited that. It makes me feel. I also talk a lot about, like, I'm very different than I was a few years ago. My tastes in movies, games, media have changed, but like my outlook on the world has changed. It might be a little bit more cynical. It might be a little bit more jaded. But this, like, it just feels like a little bit of the old me back, and it's been really refreshing. And yeah, so my wife and I, we signed up we're going to play some soccer in the spring, and I'm playing some slow pitch outdoors with my buddy.
Fuck yeah, Jeff,
so
let's fucking go.
So it
We're
feels
back.
good to be getting out
Fucking
again,
ball,
and
bud.
yeah. So that's a long roundabout way of saying I'm enjoying MLB The Show, but it's actually it's kind of making me feel really good about this year.
Good. I'm glad. We got you to actually like do an angry blow up recently, and I was so proud of you. I was like, yes, let it
Wait,
out.
when was that?
I don't know. Time's a fucking flat circle. It could have been 3 days ago. It could have been 2 weeks ago. I don't even remember what it's about. I just remember being proud of you. Anyway, Britt,
Hello.
what you been playing?
Y'all, I've been playing a little game called Resident Evil 4.
Hell yeah.
Never heard of it.
Man, between fucking Leon,
Baby girl.
Louise,
Leon the baby girl.
fucking Ganondorf, Clyde, I've been eating good this week, let me tell you.
I do gotta tell you, RE4 is a buy nightmare.
Oh my
with
God.
Leon, Louise, Ashley, Ada. Like, there's a lot going on. You eating.
Eating. I am playing through Resident Evil 4. I'm taking my time with it. Just because, like, I have a small child, and that's not really a game you could play in front of said small child.
I think you should.
They gotta learn sometime.
You gotta learn, man.
No.
Sometimes Spanish people
Y'all,
are
if
whack.
you want to come over here and sleep with him when he has nightmares, then by all means, I will
No.
play the game in front of him. That's what I fucking thought. Anyway,
I'll babysit.
I don't know that you want him to.
CJ just comes over and shows him the Family Guy with Peter.
Hey kid, anyway, how do you feel about fucking Darren Aronofsky? Let's go.
Hey, look, so we're watching John Carpenter's 1982 seminal classic, The Thing. What's great is I don't have kids, so this is fun practice for me to fuck someone else's kid.
Listen, kid, I'm gonna make you watch every Michael Mann movie in order.
Gotta watch Heat eventually.
You gotta watch.
so these are my top 10 Simpsons episodes, and here's why.
You're gonna fucking listen to me. Hold up. Hold up.
I'm gonna make you smoke every one of these cigarettes till you learn your lesson.
Brett, I'm trying to drink. Your kid's bothering.
That's on you.
Anyway.
So, yeah, I've been playing Resident Evil 4. I'm fucking dog shit at that game, let me tell you. I'm bad. Like,
It's hard.
I'm just now realizing that, like, I can run past certain enemies and I don't have to fight them. But my instinct, like, so I couldn't play these games, like, a few years ago. Like, when the RE2 remake came out, I couldn't play because I was too fucking scared. But now I just, like, whenever an enemy dares to step on me or come on me, I'm mad and they have to die. Like,
Hey, yo,
you
what kind
dare,
of fucking, what the
you
fuck?
dare walk up to me and you're dead. Like, I want to kill them. I don't want to run past them. I want to get my fucking money's worth out of killing them. So I'm dealing with learning to run past enemies and not just taking all my anger out on them. But I am also like the game kind of just gets progressively more frustrating. Like I would say like at the end of the village and then on. Like there's just a lot of like new enemies, getting into the castles. So fucking annoying. Holy shit. I can't tell you how many times I killed an enemy, go to loot them, and then I got just fucking hit with a catapult or, you know, just that kind of shit. So I took a break because I was getting super frustrated. But yeah, it's so good. It's so fucking good. It's so fun. The voice acting's great. Yeah, the gameplay is just fun. And
are you a fan of the original RE4?
I am.
I think we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, I think it's always the hallmark of a very good game where it's like, I was about to fucking toss it out the window. This game is fucking infuriating, and I love it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, but like it's fun. Like so I don't know if y'all remember in the first game, but you had to collect medallions each chapter. Well, in this game, you get like different little things you have to do. Like you have to fucking kill rats, or you got to kill this dog that's all the way in the fucking back of the village. Like there's different things you get to, like different little assignments you get each chapter, and it's fucking fun. Like it adds a different aspect to the game that I normally would not even think about or consider. But yeah, it's super fun. I definitely like it better than the original. I think there's a lot of upgrades. But yeah, I'm fucking dog shit at the game. I'm so fucking bad at it.
I love they were like, hey, if you're familiar with Resident Evil 4, you should skip to hardcore mode. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No, it's hard.
Changes so much, right? Like it changes like a lot, right?
Yeah.
Well, like what I don't like, and I'm absolutely gonna show my ass here if there actually is one, but I don't like that I can't dodge. I have to wait for the evade button, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's like a dodge.
No, there's not a dodge. So like when enemies come at me, I just spam circle and I crouch up and down again, and it works. I've skittered past like 3 of them in a row, and
Leon just does the nay in front of them, and then they stop.
Essentially, yeah. Like the first time I was going, like,
not to say the whitest phrase that's been said on this podcast so far, but
like the village, the very first scene where you're waiting for the bell to ring and you have to run around and shit. There was 3 zombies and they're all just like coming at me. I say zombies, but they're not. There are 3 enemies coming right at me, and they're zigzagged, right? And I just fucking did that shit, and I went past each and every one of them. And Zach was like, "How the fuck did you do that? Like, I have no idea how you just fucking did that."
You fucking
like,
schmoove it is what you do.
I don't either. But
you mash the crouch button and you schmoove it right past them.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm also playing a lot of Overwatch with the new character. Lifeweaver,
He's cute.
Yeah, he's very cute. Hard to play, but yeah. Resident Evil 4, Overwatch. That's my life.
Yeah. So I've been playing this game. I'm a little late to the party. I've been playing Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, the infamous Dark Souls-like game from Team Ninja.
It's not really that Souls-like.
It's not really.
It's not. It's more of like a
on paper it seems like it is, but like
right.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Especially the pedigree of the devs, like you would think, because like they do Souls, right?
Well, that just means they intentionally wanted it to be something kind of different, right? Chaos, that one.
Shadow the Hedgehog 2, yes.
Yes, it is. So I want 2 things to be very clear as I talk about Stranger of Paradise. One is that this is a really fucking good action game. It's a ton of fun to play. The job system is great. There's good variety with the weapons. It's cool. It is good to play without being like too hard. And you're kind of flexible in how you adjust your difficulty, like whether you want teammates or not, what difficulty level you're on can be changed level to level. The loot system can mostly be ignored for most of the like story is what I understand, and it's like post-game grind and DLC where that stuff starts to matter more and becomes kind of hard by default. But like it's a good time. And obviously I'm a big ass Final Fantasy fan. I've played every numbered entry except for the MMOs. Yeah, who could have guessed? So like I'm loving all of the incorporation of like Final Fantasy 1. But then also the ways that they do find ways to like loop in and reference, like there's clearly some like specifically Dissidia DNA going on in terms of its like narrative and setting. There's like bits of and references to a bunch of the other numbered games in there. It's a fun Final Fantasy themed
very Nomura-esque too. Like it is all.
Oh
like,
yeah, it's incomprehensible bullshit.
Oh my gosh, so
which is
good.
really the second thing. This is the stupidest fucking game I've ever played. Without a doubt. And like I love it. It is the stupidest fucking game I've ever played. So you start this game, Jack Garland, Chaos, I have to kill Chaos. That guy is in a golden field for some reason. You do some combat tutorials. They're not very good. A portal opens up. He walks through the portal. He's suddenly in front of the castle in a different world, and two other dudes walk up, and they're all holding fucking 8 balls in their hand, and they just look at each other, and they're like, bro, you here to kill Chaos? I'm here to kill Chaos. And then there's like a black dude who sounds really black, and I'm a little uncomfortable with it, but that's the voice direction that they chose. Not my place to judge, I guess, but still. Hey, John, we are talking about. I'm glad you could make it. I am talking about Stranger of fucking Paradise, John. So anyway, they go like, yeah, dude, we're all here to kill Chaos. Let's fucking jerk off and charge our crystals together. You get
I don't remember that line at all.
It was there. You get 2 text boxes that tell you.
Based on what I've seen of the game, that game could be that line could literally be in the game.
This is 120 seconds in from the title screen, by the way, that we're at this point.
No, he's right. That's literally
there
how
are
it
2
starts.
text boxes where it's like, by the way, they work for the king now because they found him and talked to the king, and now they kill monsters for the king.
Because these dudes meet on a boat.
2 textbooks, then they're on a boat. And Jack is sitting here like, I'm fucking tired of this bullshit. I wish we didn't have to waste so much time killing all of these goddamn monsters. And it's like,
for Final Fantasy fans.
We've been doing this for 5 years. Like, and my man, you are complaining. We are 2.5 minutes into the game, and you are complaining about all of the plot we are skipping. It's really incredible how unironically, like, this is a game that very famously includes both Frank Sinatra's My Way and Limp Bizkit, like, within the game's soundtrack, and it is the exact Venn diagram between those two things. And I hate it. I love it. I'm gonna 100% it. I fucking hate it. I don't understand. But here I am. I am a true jacker now. Me and my fellow jackers.
Derek!
We're all just gonna go jack off with our fellow jackers.
Okay, so
I stand with Jack, is what I'm saying.
Here's the
Jack Garland. We're gonna kill Chaos.
Here's the thing about
Britt, are you telling me? No, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Let's hear it.
Here's the thing about
Are you telling me you're not a true jacker?
I mean, look. There's only one person on this podcast who is truly jacked. First of all,
that's true.
Second,
I don't know, man. Give me give me more time, John.
John?
I started biking to work. Again this week, and I gotta tell you, man, give me some time. I'm gonna move up to like maybe 4th most fit person on this podcast.
I have also.
No, Britt, go. It's you.
I was just gonna say I've also started to bike.
Hell yeah!
You started to bike? Oh, biking is
Peloton.
great.
Peloton, man.
My ass is gonna be great.
Here's the thing about Peloton. Like
Kicks your ass.
As somebody who is like, like fitness is very important to me, right? So I tried Peloton, and I actually fell off of it because I don't know if the one guy was just doing this, but like the instructor I had kept going like every 5 seconds. He's like, Peloton. Okay, Peloton.
Is he a Pokemon? Shit.
No, it's
Peloton.
subliminal
And I'm like,
messaging.
and at the point, like I got to the point where I audibly was like, shut the fuck up at the TV. Like actually, as if this guy.
Are you sure he wasn't just like healing in 14 or something like that?
He was like lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Yeah, you can do a new instructor.
after that, I was like, I can work out better than you can anyway. So
yeah, John hits tires with hammers.
You're fighting the Peloton, dude.
I'm gonna go outside and fight I'm gonna go outside and fight
That's like the most barbarian shit I've ever heard John say.
This one, there's no question when we finally get our D&D show off the ground. Like, John, you're gonna be a barbarian, right? There's no question.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a barbarian and attorney at law.
And his name would be Ron Pips.
Like I was. I'm gonna be Grothgar, barbarian at law. But no, like Derek's right though. Like my idea of a workout is like I'm gonna go outside and throw some tires around and hit them all with a hammer as hard as I can, and then I'm gonna go beat the shit out of a gorilla for a cool down. So
it's like punch trees, like in Minecraft.
John, this is perfect timing.
Like in Shang-Chi. I'm just out there punching trees.
John, this is perfect timing. So aside from like fucking throwing raccoons at trees to exercise or whatever it is you do, what have you been playing this last week, man?
So I didn't want to start anything that was going to take me longer than a week because, of course, the motherfucking Pixel remasters are coming out in 6 days.
Wait, what? They are? Explain them.
Don't set him up. Don't set him up.
Final Fantasy 14 for me,
this
please.
is already a Final Fantasy podcast anyway tonight, Jeff.
Side note, not to get too behind the curtain here, but is everything taken care of? You're going to be able to stick through?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure because I know there was some shit going on, and I didn't know if you were here for a good time or for a long time. So
you know, okay,
good. I'm just making sure. Cool.
I thought a good time is like not being on the podcast for the entire day.
Let's just Derek. Let's just say that everyone can relax. The situation is resolved.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So anyway, where the fuck was I? Right, what I've been playing. So I didn't want to start anything that was going to take me longer than a week. So what I've been doing is replaying things like Super Mario World, Super Mario World 2, because Yoshi's Island is a fucking national treasure. Super Gunstar Heroes. I've been playing a ton of Super Nintendo and GBA games, simply because, and of course, like Final Fantasy 14. To do my dailies and shit. Just because when the Pixel remasters come out, like that's literally my life for the next month and a half.
Stupid like nerd question. What are you playing? The Super Nintendo games? Are you playing them on?
I'm playing them
Switch
on
Online?
No, I'm playing them on Analog Pocket. The best place to play them.
Oh hell yeah!
With that fucking 10 times the resolution of a Game Boy screen. And CJ, like I understand that these games are all on Switch now, or at least a bunch of them are, and that's great.
Right.
But
I can imagine. Trust.
Now that I can put now that you have OpenFPGA up and running on the Pocket and it's officially supported by the dev, I can just drop and literally anything from the SNES era to before that, including Simpsons Arcade, which I have on my Analog Pocket.
Well, I was gonna say, I think I was here. Right, I talked about like a recent, just like in December, I just played through all of like Mario World just because I wanted to test out the grips on my Switch, and I just like got sucked into it. Like, that was like an entire like weekend for me.
Turns out Mario games are fucking good.
Oh man, Mario World is so fucking good. I still think that's my favorite one.
Yeah, no, Super Mario. Yeah, and so these, I played and replayed. I did my annual playthrough of Chrono Trigger this past week on the Analog Pocket. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of these games, not all of them, but a lot of these games are on Switch Online. But after playing SNES games on an Analog Pocket, CJ, I can't go back.
I can imagine.
I can't go back.
I'm glad it makes you happy. I don't know that I can agree with that level of intensity, but it is a thing that you clearly love, and I'm glad that it's an option that is there for you and for other folks. Because I know, like Donnie and Nick, friends of some of ours, are also big, like,
yeah, and of course,
LED backlit GBA, type.
And I know CJ will agree with this. Like Super Mario World, I just finished it the other night. Super Mario World remains an all-time, like top 5 all-time game. Like it's flawless.
It might be my favorite platformer on the Super Nintendo. I know it's blasphemy considering that DKC 2 is like, but like everything that DKC 2 does, Tropical Freeze is like improved upon like significantly. Like I think World is like
Super Mario World is a flawless game.
World is like peak like Nintendo doing that, like doing like Mario games. Even like as much as I love Odyssey to death, like World is like that's a special.
CJ, for my money, I still say there's no more impressive generational upgrade than when we went from the NES to the Super NES.
Oh yeah, that's
and like once Super Mario World was the first game
like
I played
you
on
put
three, I was like, holy!
You put 3 up against World. There's no
question. Yeah, I'm on Team World. I'm on Team World.
100%.
Yep. But yeah, no, that's what I've been playing.
Rocking. Well,
Derek, what have you been playing?
I thought I said Stranger of Paradise.
Yeah,
you did.
You were gone.
Yeah,
I heard that whole section and just
just blocked it out.
I don't think Jeff. I don't think you've had enough.
It's because like
just watching the Stranger of Paradise. Sorry, the State of Play.
We had two people. We had 2 people join partway through the podcast. It threw off my sense of order.
10 minutes.
Get used to it. Get used to it. You've been doing this for years, bro. Come on.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave.
Anyway, let's talk first about because we've had a couple of game trailers. Well, just a trailer, a presentation,
2 small indie games
we want to talk about. Let's start with Tears of the Kingdom first off.
Okay.
We finally got our like full launch trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. It's really weird. We don't normally talk about like, wow, a trailer for a game just dropped, but like Nintendo has been playing Tears of the Kingdom very close to the chest, and even the gameplay demonstration we saw recently didn't give a lot. Like, it showed off some really cool gameplay mechanics, but I think there were still so many like people who were like, okay, but show me this fucking game in a nutshell. And I feel like this launch trailer that we got, it's almost 4 minutes. It's a beefy trailer.
Oh yeah, it's long.
Speaking of beefy,
it's beefy.
Okay, yeah, no. I want to hear Britt. What's beefy? Britt, what's beefy?
There's
the trailer.
No, that's no. Britt, what's so beefy about the trailer?
There's a character named Ganondorf, and they showed him he's not skin and bones anymore. They watered him up.
He hydrated.
I was gonna say it's length,
hydrated. And he grew up and he glowed up.
Yeah, we got fucking hot samurai Ganondorf is really weird to see. But
my stepdaughter was like, yeah, they watered him up. He's
like a garden. He's a moist boy now.
And I said, and she said he's wet, and I was like, wet? Okay, that's fine. We don't need to go on anymore.
That one's visceral. Yeah.
Ganondorf is wet. He's coming
wet.
for Link. He's coming for Link.
That's a whole cottage industry of.
Listen. Ganondorf's wet. He's making that Hyrule's problem.
But yeah, like this trailer looks fucking good. I was not a huge fan of Breath of the Wild.
Let's go.
Right?
Talk your shit.
I'm not here to shit talk. A ton of people loved it. It's clearly like very close to a 10 out of 10 game. And it is like beloved. It's an incredible work of
it is
art.
A masterpiece.
It just was not for me in a lot of ways.
It was like not for anyone on the podcast, I think, except John.
Maybe, I don't know. But they got me. They fucking got me because I'm in for the story beats that it looks like. Like I do genuinely. The one thing I did truly love about Breath of the Wild was I loved its like story and characters. As thin as the story was, I liked the hook of like, we don't know what happened and we're gonna piece together the past through exploration, on our way to dealing with the big bad. I think that was cool, and I love the cast of characters. It's cool to see so many of them return. It's cool to see what looks like a more active plot. Matt fucking Mercer killing it as Ganondorf in that trailer.
So that was officially confirmed.
Confirmed,
by the way.
right?
It is
not that. Like John, you thought it was Liam O'Brien,
swear
and I'm
it
not.
Sounded like Liam O'Brien.
I'm not gonna make fun of you. But everyone on the fucking internet clocked Mercer like immediately.
Okay,
So,
anime boy, I get it. You know your shit.
yeah, I'm fucking weeaboo over here.
Anime boy.
Yeah, but the trailer's good, and I'm in. Fucking this game is out in like a couple of weeks, less than a month, less than a full month, isn't it?
Yeah, no. It's so the game.
It's
comes
very
out,
beginning of May.
No. It's May 12th, isn't it?
So it's like
Is it May
just a
12th?
month then, basically.
Is it May 12th?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, that's
Yeah.
soon. That's real soon, bud.
And what's funny is they could have just like not shown anything and still would have like.
That's
they
the thing.
would've-
Nintendo fans were, and I say this as a Nintendo fan, right? But like people were being weird about like, why aren't they showing any more? You know, they could have shown
Fucking
no trailers
Zelda, bro.
for this game, like, and it
Zelda.
would have
y'all still
sold
fucking
millions.
Buy it. Slurp it
Yeah.
up.
But
Because
it's the 1984 like video.
but people were genuinely like, it's 3 months from release and we haven't gotten the big blowout, and it's like they're gonna
Bro,
do it.
You need a big blowout if you're gonna fucking complain about fucking like Nintendo games not showing trailers. They're all gonna buy this shit anyway.
I hate to say it, you're right. I was gonna no matter what, but I feel less guilty now. So, yeah. We almost got no gameplay footage for Advance Wars, but here we are, weeks before launch. They're finally showing off the game.
Hell yeah! Talk about Advance Wars.
Yeah.
If I can play Devil's Advocate for a second,
Yeah.
and you know, I've made it very clear. I think on this podcast too, like a lot of times. Yeah, I Breath of the Wild didn't vibe with me. It was like the first game I bought on my for my Switch when I got it like months after it launched. Should have fucking bought Mario Kart 8. Still don't own a copy of that. But I don't own a copy of Mario Kart 8.
You're the only human being left on Earth who doesn't own Mario Kart 8.
$60. I'm not paying that much money for a game I could rent from my life from work. You know, like every couple months.
Rent Mario Kart, you need it. You always need it.
I do need it because I have the online. So Breath of the Wild, the thing is, it should have been like the perfect storm. It's an open world game. It's a mechanic, like it's a mechanics based open world game that like kind of reacts to everything. Everything I love about Red Dead 2 or
it's a lot of like emergent gameplay shit from the way systems interact. Yeah,
exactly. Where you're kind of in charge.
CJ Core.
But the problem is, it's not a lot of its structure and like getting to like the critical path like was lacking, right? Like there's not a lot there to kind of like guide you into something, so it felt kind of aimless, right? Kind of felt like Nintendo was like pulling from like survival games like Minecraft or something like that, and it did not like vibe with me. At least in Metal Gear Solid 5, you had like a sort of like limited space to work with, and then you had your parameters, but everything was up to you. Red Dead 2, you can always just go back to the story and you'll be fine. So a lot of Breath of the Wild didn't vibe with me, but I'll say this trailer kind of convinced me. Don't know if I'm going to drop $70 on this game though, which is also kind of wild. Like a lot of the sort of like the crafting stuff looks like very interesting. The it really does feel like Nintendo.
Dude,
like
he built a fucking mech.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're really committed to like, okay, so
you played a Junkyard Wars and built a garbage bot. I love it.
There's one shot in particular in the trailer in the beginning, like they showed an enemy fighting like an animal. And I'm like, okay, so like they're really committed to making this world like alive. Like the world is not just reacting to Link. It's like alive. It's populated. It's all that. Which I love shit like that. I'm like, all right, I'm all in. Who knows? It'll probably be in one of those situations where I get it, because it's the zeitgeist. Everyone's playing it. I'll play for like a couple hours, lose interest in it, and then done. Wait till whatever other they have. I'm not a Zelda fan. Anyway, so it's not even like how most people are disappointed in that it's not like a traditional Zelda game with like traditional dungeons. That's not me. I'm like in the opposite camp. It's just I guess it's too extreme for me to even like get behind.
Yeah.
So,
but like I don't know, man. It looks one of my big things. The trailer looks great. Again, like the story's looking like now that we've gotten caught up to the present. Now we're gonna get to like telling a more traditional story where maybe that can be like maybe there's more voice acting in this. It's starting to kind of sound like
I hope there's structure like in that. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I'd like a little structure, and like I hate to be this. I kind of want like more dungeons, right? Like
so here's the thing.
Or just more in depth dungeons than the mechanical.
I think it's
were.
pretty. So I think from this trailer, it's pretty clear that traditional dungeons are making some sort of a return.
They have puzzles and stuff like actual like.
They're like
well-defined, like
the minecart shit, like that screams dungeon to me, right?
Yeah, kind of.
And the laser thing too, right? Like
Right.
that looks like an actual.
The three-headed dragon at the end, I am pretty sure is Gleeok, which is a boss
for sure.
the original Zelda game.
There's no way that thing has a name.
It is. No, it does.
Making that shit up.
No, Derek, am I making it up?
Yeah,
it's Gleeok.
I never played it. I'm sorry.
But here's the thing, Derek. Did you catch Demise in the trailer?
I didn't.
So
you sure it's Demise, or is it just Ganondorf going fucking Super Saiyan?
No. So before you even see Ganondorf, there is a figure with his back to the camera with a huge mane of fiery red hair.
Ganondorf.
No, that's Demise.
We'll see.
It's Demise.
It's fucking Akuma.
No, it is. Oh, and let's but on that topic, dude, Ganondorf, this is the coolest Ganondorf design I've ever seen. He's a fucking samurai.
I said in the DMs on Twitter, the friend DMs, that one of the interesting things about this design for me is that ever since Ocarina of Time, every major like new Ganondorf design has leaned into regality. Right, his Wind Waker design is the big flowing ornate robes, and the point is to make him look like almost priestly. Right, Twilight Princess, he's got the.
Derek, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry. Twilight Princess, he has like the cornrows or whatever the fuck those are in like the crown, right? He has this ornate hairpiece that his hair is all through, and he's got the armor and the cape, and it's much closer to. There's like a Dark King kind of vibe to him, right? Hyrule Warriors is the bossest fucking design I've seen in ages for Ganondorf, but we haven't seen this motherfucker since somebody said 2005 or 2006.
It was Twilight Princess was the last game he showed up in.
If you don't count the Hyrule Warriors version. So like, we ain't seen this dude in forever, and now he's back, and it's actually a really toned down.
Who's Demise?
So Demise is the evil. So Demise is the antagonist in Skyward Sword. He is the evil. He is the.
It's like the proto Ganondorf.
I hated Skyward Sword.
Demise is the evil. Is the evil spirit.
I like the storybook vibes.
That kind of like corrupted Ganon and basically fused with Ganondorf, and he became Ganon. Right. So, in chat, that is confirmed Gleeok in another trailer. So that is in fact Gleeok from the very.
It's funny that this comes also like not long after
we're just
the internet
making up words.
No, the internet finally realized that Gleeok was hidden in Breath of the Wild the whole time.
And also, Derek, just Rar agrees that that's Demise.
Okay.
Go back if you go back. If you go
I'll
back,
go look at it.
dude,
not right now. I'm
not trying to be like, oh, you're wrong.
He said it is.
I am.
I'll
sure,
go look at it.
I am sure
I'm curious. I want to know.
Jeff. but yeah, like
looks more like Ganondorf with a bad case of ligma.
If nothing else, I hope
my balls.
If nothing else, I hope
this puts my balls.
If nothing else, I hope that this puts to risk some of the this could have been DLC shit, because it's like, no, this could not have been DLC. So
no, well, those people are fucking stupid.
Yeah,
leave them alone.
But
they give Twitter accounts out for free. It's really bad idea to do that. But yeah, no, the game looks good, and it's gonna sell more copies than. Like, what this year has a chance of doing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom numbers? I genuinely don't know.
I mean,
Resident Evil 4,
might.
Resident Evil 4, Final Fantasy 16 are like. I actually don't think Final Fantasy 16. Like, let's be clear, Final Fantasy has never done numbers like Breath of the Wild did. This would have to be a huge blow up.
I mean, Final Fantasy 15 is the highest selling in or is it 13? Is the highest selling in the franchise? Like. I think it sold 12, 15 million copies or something like that. I don't know how that compares to.
We'll see.
Breath of the Wild,
but Tears of the Kingdom is like the hype behind this is reaching critical mass.
Now, what's wild, Derek, is that in the past, like Zelda was
this year.
In the past, Derek, Zelda was not like a huge blockbuster seller for Nintendo. Breath of the Wild changed that.
Zelda's done real well for a while.
It's done real well. It doesn't, but it's never done like Mario fucking numbers until Breath of the Wild. And all of a sudden, Zelda, I would argue, is just as important to Nintendo as Mario. Like
There's a reason they took so many years to make this. So
yeah.
I shouldn't have clicked that link. You're right, Rar.
So just don't quote me in these numbers. I'm just curious. Real quick, I looked it up. Yeah, so Breath of the Wild These numbers, I think, are from early 2023. Breath of the Wild sold about 29 million. The next closest was Twilight Princess at 8 million. So, until Breath of the Wild, single digit, 8 million is a good amount.
Great, but
great.
29 million is is absurd. That's like top selling video games of all time, you know.
And that 8 million for Twilight Princess is across 3 platforms. That's Wii, GameCube, and Wii U.
Well, and you also have to remember that Breath of the Wild
Wii U doesn't count. That was like 5 copies.
Right, but like Breath of the Wild launched on a console that, quite honestly, was doing something that had never been done before. So
the Wii U.
Yes, absolutely.
It was bombing so hard.
Unlike nobody's seen such a drop like the Wii to the Wii U. It's incredible.
It's so funny because everyone associates this game with Switch, but I'm like the one person who played it on Wii U.
You did play it on Wii U. How did it run on Wii U?
It was fine. So I bought the Switch because I didn't get a Switch at launch. I bought a Switch like a year later and went to replay it. And honestly, there's not a big difference. It's a bit higher res.
I really think Nintendo's going to let a Zelda game run like shit on any system it releases on.
The frame rate wasn't great, but it's not perfect on
Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild.
You all know what a snob I am when it comes to this stuff. It was fine on Wii U. Play the Wii U version, folks.
It's still
better
good
on
Wii U. Please be a contrarian. No, I preferred it on Wii U, man. Something pure about it. I don't know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do y'all think this game will be playable and make sense for people who didn't play Breath of the Wild?
I imagine it will, only because in the end, the story of Breath of the Wild was so simple and arch, right? I can explain the story of Breath of the Wild in like 3 sentences. And that's good. I think it will probably be enriched if you had played Breath of the Wild through and had a little more experience with some of these characters who are returning, and a little more history with them. But I don't imagine you will need to have.
Yeah,
this is what I'm confused about. The story is connected to that story, correct?
Yes.
Although I suspect we're gonna see some serious time travel.
I'm not.
Did you?
I'm not.
I
promise I'm not trying to troll, but Breath of the Wild had such little actual narrative and story that I really.
Did you not play Breath of the Wild? I guess, Britt.
I tried, man. Was not
the thing about Breath of the
butter.
Wild is that much of what drove Breath of the Wild was the emptiness, right? The point was that you got dropped out here,
I love
and
the solitude
didn't
of it.
know anything that was going on. You didn't know anybody who was there, and it's filling in the gaps as you meet new people in towns and learn about the history. And it's so simple. It's just fucking evil force calamity. Ganon shows up, and every the kingdom starts to fall under evil, and 4 different great champions with 4 divine beasts showed up to seal it away. But
in that regard, Derek, you know what? Breath of the Wild reminded me a little bit of Metroid. You've got you're alone essentially in a hostile world where pretty much everything wants to kill you. There are not a lot of other people around. I mean, Breath of the Wild was essentially a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
And there was a sense of danger, constant danger in Breath of the Wild that you never really got in any of the other Zelda games. Derek, how many times when you saw Lionel off in the distance did you stiffen up and crouch in the grass?
I think stuff like that is great. A lot of the emergent, that's what really
it.
made Breath of the Wild interesting, was the emergent stuff. It was not the story, which was so simplistic,
right?
In the grand scheme, I mean, that's why
the real story of Breath of the Wild is the world itself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So you're gonna understand
we made
along the way.
Everything important about Breath of the Wild is gonna get summed up in the opening 2 minutes of Tears of the Kingdom.
Now
so
that said, Britt and Jeff
previously
on Breath of the
previously
Wild.
on X-Men.
Well, I won't play this.
You cheated me, old man.
No. I was just gonna say, Jeff, I think you'll agree with me when I say that Britt, as hot as Samurai Ganondorf might be, if Breath of the Wild didn't do it for you, I don't expect this one's going to do it for you either. I really don't.
You don't think they'll make any quality of life changes to the game?
I don't think it's about quality of life changes. I think it's about essentially like they're taking a formula that didn't mesh with you and they're building on it. It's not like I don't think this is.
They're enriching and deepening the mechanics.
If you didn't like breaking physics and breaking things and manipulating all that stuff and that stuff is just, they're ramping that up, and they're
it's just like it's not necessarily the breaking shit and whatever. That's fine, whatever. It was just like the map's bigger, isn't it?
I think so.
Isn't it like 5 times bigger than?
Maybe.
What?
Well, I mean, because you got all the Sky Islands, right? Like, I mean.
But it's not like they're not going to go from like the design of Breath of the Wild to like a very linear, narrative heavy, cutscene heavy game.
And that's not what I'm saying is going to happen. I was just saying personally why I didn't like Breath of the Wild is just because it's open world, and that shit gives me anxiety because I am OCD and I have to complete like fucking everything as I see it. So I just never started Breath of the Wild initially when it first came out because I knew like that shit's just gonna stress me out. There's like 700 shits I gotta collect, like, and then everybody.
Why are you collecting shits?
I don't know.
You literally can't collect
well,
shit.
to be fair,
are you picking up shit like dog shit in the backyard? Like,
what do you think? What's his name? Hestu gives you. That's a shit. That's
that is a turd. Yeah, it is a turd.
All them Korok seeds are just tiny little shit pebbles.
Yeah,
I have a question.
The seeds. But and everybody was telling me how much of a good game it is, and I'm just like not into the vast open world games like I used to be. It's just things get harder when you have kids and shit.
Yeah,
and
I don't have time to do all that shit. I don't.
Yeah. So like I really wanted to like it and get into it. It's just it was just too much for me. Which sucks because I love Zelda. It's like one of my favorite franchises. And I love the characters. I fucking like Nibiru is one of my favorite fucking characters of all time.
Urbosa fucking crush my windpipe queen.
Right. Exactly. And like there's so many like cool characters and shit, and I like that it has voice acting. I just haven't been able to sink in.
Well, maybe I will. How about this? I will try to keep all these things in mind. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah,
and I can tell you if I think based on because I fully understand that like I generally don't like open world games, right? And I had to end up like choosing to ignore a lot of that stuff in order to get through Breath of the Wild. Right. So I will try to evaluate Tears of the Kingdom as best I can on your terms, and and so you can make maybe a more informed decision about that later.
So
can I say real quick? This might be a transition into the next topic, but like just on the topic of this, Final Fantasy 16 looks great, but everything Britt said is like, man, when they opened the fucking map in 16 and they were showing the skill trees and stuff, I got the same like, and all the crafting materials to like upgrade weapons. I was like, oh my.
Let's transition to Final Fantasy 16.
No. It's time. It's time. DJ, shut up. It's time. It's time. Okay, go ahead.
What's the question, DJ?
Ask your question.
Fuck up.
Don't.
Stupid ass, dumbass. So my question is Nintendo releasing anything else like major this year? Is this going to be another?
They will. I think they don't.
Like, Nintendo in turn, like, because Pokemon's like technically an outside thing. You know what I'm saying?
Nintendo is going to. Nintendo has stuff coming later this year.
Metroid Prime 4. Maybe?
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. The thing is, Nintendo, like, there were 100% stupid rumors that, like, after Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo really doesn't have much left in the tank until Switch 2. Pikmin 4 is going to be a good time, but the reality is that's bullshit. Nintendo is going to end up showing a bunch of stuff off that we've never heard of,
like during E3 time or whatever.
In mid-late summer, like and it's going to be great, and there will be a couple more big hits in there, and they'll then we'll worry about the next.
Like, what do you think? Like, that's the thing. Like, what do you think they have for the holidays? Right?
Metroid Prime 4. I think it's Metroid Prime 4.
I do think Metroid's
you think?
on the table, but that's the problem. You can't know. They could revive Battalion Wars for all we fucking know. Magical Star Sign 2.
What's that pinball game for GameCube that uses the mic fucking Odama? They bring that back.
Yeah, it could be.
CJ,
you never know.
CJ, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. We know now that they held Metroid Prime Remastered for like 18.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason they dropped it. There's a reason they dropped it, and now
you're stupid.
Because I guarantee you're gonna Metroid Prime 4 is either like a winter game or like a January.
I love how we
type
distracted
thing.
John from Final Fantasy 16 by letting him talk about Metroid Prime 4.
Not anymore, motherfucker. It's time to talk about Final Fantasy 16.
Let's talk about Final Fantasy 16.
I need to play the first 15 Final Fantasy games.
No, they actually addressed that in the fucking trailer.
Okay, so
they actually addressed that.
Real quick, shout out to a friend of the show, Ben Starr, who told me via DM to give all of you his love and say that if he was on Eastern time and he wasn't in bed, he'd be on with us right now.
I get it. It's a lot.
So okay, guys, huge, like almost 30-minute fucking blowout.
I didn't get a chance to watch this, and it sucks because
Derek.
I know.
You want to talk about beefy?
Okay.
I got here. I got home at 8:40, so I did not have time.
Okay, so all right.
I was gonna say, can I just go real quick?
Yes,
because I'm not gonna talk that much about the actual game, which I think you all are excited to talk about. I just want to say, like, as a state of play and like as a game presentation, I think this was probably like one of the best demonstrations. Like, because I've been paying attention to the game, but like I never really got a sense of like a lot of like what kind of it was just very well organized. It was very thoughtfully laid out, but it was also I think very respectful and kind of inclusive to like anyone who might be interested in it. The thing I love the most was there's a big section that focuses on, because like it's like very action combat oriented, and like that was my initial impressions. Like, I love Final Fantasy, but man, the closer they get to like a Platinum game or Devil May Cry, I'm kind of close to tapping out because it's too overwhelming. I was watching the combat, like, this looks like a fucking nightmare. There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. And they're like, they take like 3 minutes in the trailer, like, it's fine. There's all these accessibility options. There's all these items to make the games easier. The whole game is designed to like customize it to play the way you want. And I'm like, fucking yes. But the way, just like the state of play, it was very well paced. The way they talk about everything, it was very clearly communicated. I just think like the way the game was, this is like a textbook example of how to present a game to people. And I just want to give them like props for that. That's really all I had to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, what they did was a big deep dive into the RPG elements of the game. And there's quite a bit. Like, yes, it's an action RPG, but it's still very much an RPG.
Just real quick, I just wanted to touch up on what Jeff said about, being overwhelmed by the battle system and everything. What I think is really cool in that display is they said, like, look, if you just want to focus on story, like, here's some accessories, here's some equipment where you can just, full blown ahead. Like, you don't have to worry about these things,
And they really go into detail. They're like, if you want to like auto dodge, there's an item that lets you auto dodge, and if you want to slow down time, there's one that lets you do that. Like they really are, like, even one just lets you one button combat. Like like really, really cool.
It's
like,
actually it's accessibility in a way that really hasn't been like diversitized, if that makes sense, if that's a fucking word. Like it gives you choices and options and like certain things that you struggle with, like you might be okay like leveling and doing side quests, you just need help doing this, or maybe you're really good at dodging, but you need you just need a little bit more time, like,
because I've played a lot of games where it's like, I mean, I like easy mode, but it's like I'm always like in between two, where it's like, easy's boring because it's like you just one shot everything, but then the next step up you get overwhelmed by like the parry timing or something. Like the granularity in there is like just really, really cool.
One thing, and they cleared up some stuff too. So you absolutely do have a party, a traditional JRPG party. Your party consists of Clive, Torgal, Sid, and Jill. And
I only care about Torgal.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, what was that second name?
Sid. Or Torgal, the dog.
Torgal. Okay. I was like, we got 3 regular names and one very Final Fantasy ass name.
Torgal's the dog. And of course, Clive, Sid, and Jill are Ifrit, Ramu, and Shiva dominants, respectively. And of course, and we saw a lot of combat.
A dominant, but
shut the fuck up. We saw a lot of other summons as well.
Let him cook. Let him keep going.
Let me finish my fucking thought. But anyway, we saw more combat in this trailer than we have in all the other trailers combined. They really did a deep dive into the combat of this game. It is so Devil May Cry. I mean, obviously, the combat director.
Should I not watch this presentation?
No, fucking watch
Derek,
it.
Just do it. Just dive in.
Derek,
I'm really trying to go into this game relatively blind.
Derek, after the podcast, let's watch it fucking together.
I don't know if I got time. We'll talk later anyway.
But no. So we saw a ton of combat for Final Fantasy 16. Very action oriented. The guy who directed the combat in Devil May Cry 5 is the guy responsible for the combat here, and it really fucking shows. What impressed me the most, and Britt, you tell me what you think, was the fucking icon battles between
what I wanted to talk about. It looks so fucking cool. Like, you could do battles like everybody's a summoner in that game. If you summon yourself and you have summon battles, and it's so fucking cool.
They're fucking kaiju battles.
They're kaiju battles.
They're kaiju. Like, dude, Titan is the size of like the fucking Empire State Building. Like, and you are just like going back, and the cool thing is there's
you have to run up his arm and shit. It's very Devil May Cry.
Also, all of the icon fights are different. For example, the fight between Titan and the fight with Titan is like a wrestling match. But when you play as Phoenix and you're fighting Bahamut, it's like a Panzer Dragoon style 3D shooter. And it is so.
I was thinking that I was watching. Like, this is fucking Panzer Dragoon. It's so cool.
Yeah. It is,
and then like the
cool.
Was it the Ifrit fight? It looked like Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like a wrestling game.
But what's cool about it is it looks like there's like different stages, right? Like you can be yourself, and then you can be yourself mixed with the icon, and then you can like be the icon, and it's just like you become it. It's not like you summon something. It's like you become the icon.
You're summoning it through yourself. Is the vibe I got from previous trailers.
Fucking cool.
It's also like. It feels very like old school God of War in a good way, like just the bombast and like the scale of this stuff. Like all the best parts of that without like the misogyny. Hopefully, Final Fantasy, hit and miss, but.
And you also have a hub. There's a hub. It's Sid's hideout. Sid is a major character in this game. And Sid's hideout is an area that you can build up over time. Your shops are there. You get side quests there.
I just see John fist bumping every time they mention Sid. Fucking yes.
Oh,
my man.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I gotta tell you, like, dude, this Sid has got to be like the handsomest incarnation of Sid in the franchise, right?
Hold on. Let's. You're not forgetting about Oglop's Sid, right?
Yeah, I am forgetting about Oglop's.
You guys are making shit up. There's no way. This is like a fucking like bit that you guys are.
No, this is absolutely the handsomest Sid in the entire Final Fantasy franchise. Like this guy's arms. This guy's arms were not meant to wield weapons. This guy's arms were meant to pull you in for his tender kiss. Like, Sid is a handsome fucking man in this game, dude. And he's voiced by Ralph Ineson, and Ralph Ineson's got that fucking voice where it's like, God damn, man, like, dude, have you smoked? Like, Ralph Ineson sounds like he smoked 3 packs a day his entire life. If you don't know who Ralph Ineson is, he played the Green Knight in the Green Knight. So he's got that really deep.
He's got a real heavy voice.
Yeah, he does. He's like his voice is deep.
Say less.
Shit. What's that?
I said say less.
Say less.
Yeah.
Less.
So you just shut the fuck up, John.
No, like, thank you, CJ. Thank you, CJ.
But everybody shut the fuck up.
What it means like, what's like say no more. Like, you already sold me.
Brit's in deep voice.
I don't even know what that means. I've never heard anybody put it like that.
Can you kick him out, Derek? We don't need this.
I can't do that.
John landed on Earth like a year ago. That's what happened.
Yeah, I did. But no. So I was absolutely, and man, dude, the fucking art direction for the locations in this game.
Very heavily 14 inspired.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
You can absolutely see you like 14 in every even like
giant
the fucking
crystal in the ground.
Yeah, or Brit, like the fucking like the damage circles for the fucking enemy attacks. I'm like, oh, like,
well, even some of the boss fights, like, it looks very like raidy. Like, you could almost see the AOE and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's very. And could be wrong because I haven't played all the Final Fantasies. Like, did they just straight up rent hunts and like marks out of 14?
Yeah.
Or was that 12?
Well, I mean, it's been a kind of a thing in several Final Fantasy games.
Okay.
But and I was hoping that they would include that because this combat system looks so good that I want to make as much use of it as I can. Derek, there was a great little reference to Final Fantasy V in the trailer.
I saw Liquid Flame.
Liquid Flame as a boss in Final Fantasy V, and Liquid Flame is a boss here. It's little stuff like that. There's a fucking and I'm so fucking happy. There's a Moogle in the game that looks like a Moogle, and it just makes Moogle noises. It doesn't actually have a voice. It says like Koopo over and over, and I'm so fucking happy because I can't stand when they do that shit. That's one of the reasons I hated Final Fantasy 13
World of Final Fantasy
and World of Final Fantasy because like the fucking Moogles.
There is no criticism I will accept of World of Final Fantasy. That game is perfect.
No, there is absolutely criticism, and the voices are awful.
No, I love it.
The voices are awful.
It's camp, and it's intentional camp.
It is terrible. Now, it's a good game, but the voices in that game I couldn't stand.
It's intentional camp, bud.
Oh, and so this was actually my favorite part of the fucking trailer because it was so goddamn quaint. There is a lore master. I can't remember his name. He sounds like Socrates or something. In Sid's Hideaway, and you can relate your information to him, and he'll like fill out your archives, like your bestiary, your character thing. But when you're talking to him, the whole thing reverts to like a classic 2D pixelated Final Fantasy, and all the sound effects.
Yes.
Britt, did you see that shit?
Yes, I was gonna bring that up.
No, Britt, go ahead. You talk about it.
So basically, Clyde becomes a sprite, and the NPC you're talking to becomes a sprite, and basically so as you progress through the story, you'll get more like
Harpocrates, that's his name.
Yes, so basically, as you collect things and turn it into these NPCs, you will level up and you can get more quests from it. And what happens is when that happens, you turn into little sprites on the screen, and then the bar goes up, and then it does the Final Fantasy 1 victory music, and your character jump up and down.
I love it.
And it's got the little,
it's got the blue, stinking cute.
Britt, it's got the blue text boxes with the dialogue and everything. Like 100%. It is so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool. So did Jeff actually link it in chat here? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I timestamped it.
Derek,
I will have to later. I can't because everyone will hear it.
Yeah, he's running the stream.
CJ, check this shit out. Click that link in chat. It's
CJ, noted Pixel Final Fantasy fan, CJ.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's fucking cool. Let me gush. Let me be excited about it. It's so fucking great. It's absolutely fucking. It's absolutely fucking stellar.
I would have fucking laughed if that had the pixel remaster font, like the original.
I know, right? Yeah, like that little. And
not again.
All of a sudden, Clive's sprite just turns to the screen and goes like this.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
Guys, like the monkey's paw curls. Guys, I gotta tell you, what a fucking time to be a Final Fantasy fan. We're getting the Pixel remasters next week. Theater Rhythm is a fucking bang. I still play it every week. Final Fantasy. Did you say Feet Rhythm again?
Mm-hmm. It's called Feet Rhythm. That's what we call it.
Yeah,
now.
Whatever. It's fine.
It's
Feet
a thing.
Rhythm. And Anorian, what's up? Dude. And then you got fucking Final Fantasy 16 coming out in almost exactly 2 months. We're a little under 2 months now.
June is going to be brutal on me, man. I can't.
I have
three truly massive games all coming out.
I gotta tell you, I'm telling you right now, I have not been as excited for a game in years as I am Final Fantasy 16. This trailer is what sent me, or that's what's not even a trailer. This presentation, which Jeff already said was incredibly well done, very informative. This trailer sent me over the edge. My hype for this game.
I'm gonna say something spicy.
Please say
do it.
I'm gonna say that they were able to do this type of trailer because they've had their shit together for a while, and a lot of games are not don't have the privilege of making such a big presentation, showing everything showcasing everything, because they're
finishing
not
the game.
great. I'm looking at Forspoken.
So Britt, it's interesting you bring that up, right? Because this presentation did something that Forspoken did not. And what I mean is that this presentation screamed confidence in the product.
I was gonna
Yoshi
say
basically came out and said, "Y'all are gonna fucking play this game, and here's why."
Yeah,
I think like that's probably what you're hitting on, John. But I think it's been we know like the development that 15 went through and even 13 and stuff like it. It feels like a long time since like a core mainline single player Final Fantasy like you said, not just confident, but like it feels, even though I don't really know exactly what the whole like plot is about, they've been very good. I think Cold Nerd, like we know it's about icons and stuff, but like you still don't really feel like you have a sense of like you've seen the whole game.
Yeah.
But it feels like it has an identity. It feels like the vision is clearly illustrated. Like this is a game where like it's almost like a power fantasy. Like you're big monsters fighting other big monsters, but like also I don't know, like everything feels like really cohesive. And especially I know you love 15, John, but like for me, I like a lot of individual parts about that game. But it feels very much like a Frankenstein in a lot of ways.
No, it's I will.
Yeah.
I will absolutely concede that it's
like
a
here's camping and road trip, but some classic like it's like a bunch of shit just meshed together, and like some of it worked for me, some of it didn't. But this one just feels like right from like start to finish, they had a clear vision for what the game is, and they were able to like communicate that to people. And I think that's why it's easy to get excited for it.
Well, it appealed to like every single like a shit ton of different audiences without like. For instance, earlier I was saying, I couldn't get into Breath of the Wild because it was overwhelming. And it was like, they started out being like, here's all this shit. Like, here's the combat system. This is how it works. Get a look at the map, get a look at, some of the towns that you'll be in. And then like immediately after that, they were like, but if you want to focus on story, here's these things. They did like, not only was it like a good beefy trailer, but they did a really good job at kind of hitting every single, like, I don't want to say every single fan, but like, the different types of fans who maybe aren't into that certain type of thing. Like Jeff said, he got overwhelmed. And then like immediately after that point, they were like, but if you don't want to do this shit, here's this, and
even the skill trees, they're like, oh, you can just set it to auto and it'll just do all the upgrades for you. Like,
yep.
Great. I don't have to think about it, which is perfect. I will say, like, I'm sure there's people out there that are overreacting. I'm not one of them, I promise. The one thing is like I'm fine with this being a one-off. Like they said, it's the first true like action Final Fantasy. And I'm okay with that as like a one-off, but I don't really want like this to be like the future of mainline Final Fantasy games. Like 7 for me.
I don't
was
think
like
it will. I don't think it will.
Like that's jumping too far out. I'm just like I got a little bit of like I just hope that's not the case. I think for me like 7 Remake was like a really nice balance of like and even Crisis Core Remake to an extent, right? Like that, like nice balance of like lots of action, like good hit feedback and stuff. Like you feel like you're in control, but still some of the traditional like turn-based elements. And I do hope that comes back in the next mainline game.
So like, I think they used some of the stuff from 7, didn't they? Like, didn't they?
I mean, there's a stagger system and
yeah, like I feel like I feel like when 16 was being like not announced but worked on and everything. Like, and when 7 came out, they were basically like, yeah, we're like taking stuff from this and putting it in here and that kind of thing.
There was some really cool cinema. Oh, I'm sorry, CJ, go ahead.
I was gonna say like because again, from my limited knowledge, don't mainline Final Fantasy games doesn't every single like installment do something drastically different than the last?
They not up
like,
until like
more
8,
so.
I would say, right?
I don't know, man. I think more so as time has gone on, right? Because like.
Every like what is it? What was the last like mainline game to have like turn-based like traditional turn-based like
turn-based would be 10.
9. No, because 10 had that. I mean, it was turn-based.
No,
but
10
no
didn't
ATB.
have the ATB, but it was
no ATB.
The ATB was only for some of the games anyway. It didn't exist in 1 through 3. So like turn-based is if you want turn-based and it's numbered, you go back to 10.
I would say like the
World
last
of Final Fantasy
13
also,
was like basically turn-based, wasn't
it?
I
was gonna say, isn't
13
like a menu-based?
Well, yeah,
like,
it has a menu. It has a menu.
So it's menu-based, but
one
it's
character.
It's
but like I would say the last like real like if you want to talk about like traditional Final Fantasy, the last one I think was 9. Like
well, that's my point, right? Where it's like I don't think this will have any bearing on what future Final Fantasy fans are going to eat it up anyway, right? Like they don't seem to complain necessarily. Even the general audience, like what these games are going to make, like they're going to make bank, right? Even the general audience who like knows Final Fantasy because they played 7 when it first came out on the PS1,
PlayStation.
like they'll still play it. Yeah, I forgot what consoles were for a second, but like they'll still play it, right? Like regardless of what happens. I don't think we're gonna get like DMC Final Fantasy forever, right?
Yeah.
Like
I don't think so. And I do want to point out that Ben, who of course not only is the voice of Clive Rossfield, but I can say friend of the podcast, told me today that he said, I cannot wait for you guys to play the final product because you have seen only a fraction of what this game actually has in that presentation. And I got to tell you, I am so like, the wait for this is going to be fucking excruciating now.
When is it? I don't even remember. When is it actually out?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. I should book that day off. I never do that for games, but
So here's the part that sucks. That day, my fucking parents are coming to visit.
Oh, no, tell them to fuck off.
No. So here's the thing. So the next day, I've got like an important thing to do, which is why they're coming.
Tell them the worst part.
So no, we'll get to that after the podcast. But so I have already told them, like, I literally told my mom, and she has no fucking idea what I'm talking about. I was like, Mom, it's really cool that you're coming up. You know, I'm real happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish, but I've got to play Final Fantasy 16 that day. And she's like, I don't even know what that means. We're coming up to visit you, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm playing Final Fantasy 16. Like you guys cannot sleep in the basement. This is Final Fantasy 16 time. And she's like, what is a Final Fantasy? And I'm like, don't worry about it. You don't need to know about it.
John just pulls up his PowerPoint. Listen.
Yep. Like, listen up.
Listen, parents, I don't fucking like you. Final Fantasy,
dude,
I do like it.
I don't care if the fucking Pope comes to visit. Like, I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 on June 22nd. It does
like, hey, look, that shit looks sick as fuck.
Pope Francis is like, yo, that shit looks raw.
Hey, bro, fucking, yeah, ray tracing.
Pope Francis is like, what's that? Attack and dethrone God? I'm fucking
look, it's pretty sick, all right? Oh shit, you got a PS5?
I could not be happier. And again, like, it feels like Square has the swagger back, right? Like it feels like they've got their
it does, because this is their one, like, look, we're obviously sponsored by Square Enix, and like I love Square, but like I'm gonna say some fair criticism here, which is Square has made and released a lot of like fine to solid games in the last year that have been sent out to die, right? Made on a shoestring budget, released with little to no marketing push.
You feel crap.
Right. And like games that were actually solid, oftentimes
made by like contracted you know what I'm saying? Like it's like yes.
Games that were often really solid in spite of how limited the budget was behind them.
And treasures, baby.
And games where I am not here to defend Babylon's Fall. But like, and games that were often like should have been bigger hits than they were. Maybe not like 10 million sellers, but you know, Diofield Chronicle should have made a little more noise than it did. Valkyrie Elysium, I feel like, should have made a little more noise than it did. The Front Mission remake should have. Tactics Ogre seems to have done well, but then like
it did do really well. Live Alive did fantastic.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Treasures again, like didn't really seem to blow things up, and it should have. It should have done quite a bit better. So of course this feels like Square is back, because like Final Fantasy VII Remake, this is the big flagship Final Fantasy thing that they have coming out, which increasingly it feels like is the only thing Square Enix will put huge amounts of money into and really promote. I remember seeing tons of Final Fantasy 15 trailers in like Fox Sports. You know what I mean?
That game was huge. Again, me,
right.
who had no interest in the game.
And did you guys know that a new Star Ocean came out like 6 months ago?
Yes.
Thank you. I forgot about that.
I have a copy of it.
A mainline Star Ocean.
Yeah. But like, that's my point is this.
No.
This feels like Square is back, but like Square is going to have one of these every few years. Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be the same way, right?
Oh, dude, they're going to go.
They're every big flagship like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy like mainline ass
I call
game
that code
is going to get the money put into development and the money put into the marketing and get the push.
But
what I want,
all that profit's gonna fund whatever bullshit
it's only gonna go to the
game,
next big
or whatever AA game we like ends up, whatever Diofield Chronicles, whatever Dragon Quest. Think about it. They're in a place where they can afford to just throw out whatever they want. And
I guess what I wish that a little more of this money, I wish there was gray area in between. Right, between stuff that gets made on a shoestring budget and is good because of the quality of the designers and the artists working on it, and gets just dropped to be forgotten, and the FF16s. And we'll just see, right? There's always time to make new strategic choices, but I think even then, like, there's no way to doubt or question Final Fantasy 16 is going to be huge.
It is.
There's no way around that.
I want to point out, like, we were talking about marketing Final Fantasy 15, and Josh made a really good point. I saw Jeff talking about it too. Like, they made a partnership. They had a partnership with the fucking Cup Noodles, and they literally had a side quest in the game where you went to go make the perfect. It was called like the perfect cup, and you went to go kill a giant fucking shrimp to get some shrimp meat to put in your cup noodles.
They fucking partnered with Ubisoft. Like, you remember the fucking, like, I remember the cup noodle stuff.
No, hold on. In the side quest, they literally, Cup Noodles provided Square with a script to read for the characters to read. And you've got fucking Gladiolus saying shit like, and I quote, like, after all, Cup Noodles chooses from over 60 varieties of shrimp for their flavor and their shape.
And you wonder why I do not take Final Fantasy 15 that seriously.
I can't wait for Clive to tell me about the perfect blend of herbs and spices.
I will say this:
if 16
Burger King,
if Clive is here to shut
this time around,
right,
Jeff?
yeah,
if Clive is here to shut Calorie Made at me or Monster Energy, man, I don't hurt.
That's Death Stranding style. Like Clive just cracks a fucking.
Well, that's
Monster
Kojima
Energy.
style. Kojima's a fucking sellout. No, he has been.
So it's got to be appropriate to the setting, right? So he's gonna sit down at fucking Sid's Hideaway, and they're gonna bring him out a roasted chicken, and all of a sudden Clive's gonna like kind of turn and look at the camera and say, he says, "I'm so glad you brought me this roasted chicken, Sid, because I've got this bottle of Chef Paul Prudhomme's magic chickening seasoning in my pack. I never go anywhere without it." And he's just gonna sprinkle that shit all over. Like, it's gonna be.
You're forgetting the most important thing, which is Noctis wearing the cup and noodle hat.
I remember that.
That's great though. So
I remember that.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. We can't talk about cup of noodle because that's too much. But wearing a straight up fucking noodle cap.
Don't forget that.
Yes, because that's high fashion.
What was the fucking?
It's fashion, sweetie. Learn a thing or two.
What was the fucking sporting equipment company that popped up in Final Fantasy 15 too?
I don't know. I don't know any sports.
It was the brand of fucking. No, it was like
Wasn't it just Coleman?
It was Coleman. That's what it was. Yeah, it was
Isn't
Coleman.
that mustard?
Coleman, no. Coleman is a camping, a huge.
Britt is always
break.
the only person who has my back on my stupidest jokes. Thank you, Britt. This is why we have the gay alliance.
All right, we are over 10:30, so we should
fuck it.
Final Fantasy 16.
In our defense, I did run the intro 2.5 times. We did start late, really.
It's fine.
Jeff was muted.
But Final Fantasy 16 looks absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot fucking wait for this game. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
That's all.
I can't wait for June.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in June that's very exciting.
Every time Clive opens his mouth, I'm gonna be like, I know that guy.
I do. I'm so obnoxious. I'm like, y'all know this is my best friend Ben. Like, Ben's my boy.
I see.
Yeah. And they're like, cool, love this for you, Britt.
So just to let everyone know, when it releases, Ben is taking a podcast break, but when it releases, we are going to
have him on for some fun. Yeah.
We're going to open up a bottle of wine, and we are going to rank
the hottest Final Fantasy characters.
We're going to rank the hottest Final Fantasy characters.
If you do this without me, it's homophobia.
It's
Fran is already
Jesse.
number one.
So I'm going to tell you guys about Jesse.
No. You have to play Another Final Fantasy before you get an opinion.
I played 10.
Jesse
Listen.
being your favorite FF7 girl is a lot like my tastes in girls when I was in high school, which is it really boiled down to which one was no, I meant which one was mentally ill enough to like actually want to be with me, right?
Oh, bro, she invited me to her apartment and everything.
That's still me to this day, baby.
I don't want to brag. She invited me back to her apartment. You guys aren't on that shit, all right? You guys aren't him. I'm him. I'm that motherfucker.
Look, I don't make the rules. The hottest Final Fantasy character is Lightning. It's just a fact. Like,
I'm taking us off the air. It is that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Fran and Balthier, power couple. Yeah. Standing by that. And with that, folks, it's been a fun show. I'm glad we were able to salvage this nonsense into better nonsense. We will be back.
I'm so fucking excited.
I know. We'll be back next week. Y'all will be. I won't be. I'll have to be gone. But yeah.
Where are you going to be?
I got to go out of town, see some family.
Oh.
I know.
We're your family.
But that's not me.
I know.
We're your family.
It's some fucking birth family anyway. John, what's the thing we say when we go off the air?
Don't forget, guys. Kindness costs $69.99, which is the price of Final Fantasy 16. So be kind and pick it up for someone when it comes out on June 22nd.
Nice.
Cool. I think the paycheck from Square just deposited. So with that, the outro.
Pay it for me because I'm not paying for it. Go.